I'd like to call this meeting of the Horn Lake Board of Aldermen to order. Wish to thank all the citizens for turning out tonight. As we say every time, good government depends on the citizens being involved. I want to thank you for being here this evening. Would like to ask Alderman Johnson to please lead us in our invocation.
Let us bow. Heavenly Father, we come tonight to say thank you. Lord God, thank you for this day. Thank you for allowing us all to be here. God, we ask that we make decisions that are wise for our city. Help us to consider all of our citizens. Lord, bless those who may be without. Bless those who are experiencing loss. Bless those who might be in a financial bind right now. God, we ask that you just bless our city. Our technology, Lord Jesus, is not working the way that it should. Lord, give us patience, give us grace, Lord, and just help us to make it through. These things I pray in Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Thank you, Alderman. Would you please rise and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance led by Alderman David Young? Roll call, please, Miss Julie.
Alderman Klein.
Here.
Alderman Bledsoe. Here. Alderman Geis.
Here.
Alderman Bostic.
Here.
Alderman Johnson.
Here.
Alderman Dupree.
Here.
Alderman Young.
Here.
All right, we have a quorum. Number one on the agenda is the vote on the municipal docket. Do we have a motion?
Mayor,
Yes, sir.
make a motion to approve the municipal docket.
Motion by Alderman Geis to approve the municipal docket. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Alderman Bledsoe. Is there any discussion? Roll call, please, Miss Julie.
Alderman Klein.
Aye.
Alderman Bledsoe. Aye. Alderman Geis.
Aye.
Alderman Bostic.
Aye.
Alderman Johnson.
Aye.
Alderman Dupree.
Aye.
Alderman Young.
Aye.
Motion carries 7 in favor, none opposed. Number two on the agenda, the consent agenda. Do we have a motion?
Mayor,
Alderman Bostic.
make a motion to approve the consent agenda items A through O.
We have a motion by Alderman Bostic. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Alderman Young. Is there any discussion?
Excuse me, Mayor.
Mayor.
Yes, sir. Alderman Bostic.
It's items A through Q, my fault.
All right. We have a motion by Alderman Bostic to approve the consent agenda, items A through Q. Is your second still good? Second is still good by Alderman Young. Is there any discussion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Young.
Aye.
Alderman Dupree.
Aye.
Alderman Johnson.
Aye.
Alderman Bostic.
Aye.
Alderman Geis.
Aye.
Alderman Bledsoe. Alderman Klein.
Aye.
Motion carries 7 in favor, none opposed. Number 3 on your agenda, ladies and gentlemen, is the claims docket. Do we have a motion?
Mayor,
Alderman Geis.
make a motion to approve the claims docket. General fund, $382,832.45. The library fund, $3,306.97. The economic development fund, $34,588.79. The utility fund, $118,632.29, for a total docket of $539,360.50.
Motion by Alderman Geis. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Alderman Young. Is there any discussion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Klein.
Aye.
Alderman Bledsoe. Alderman Geis.
Aye.
Alderman Bostic.
Aye.
Alderman Johnson.
Aye.
Alderman Dupree.
Aye.
Alderman Young.
Aye.
Motion carries 7 in favor, none opposed. All right, number 4, I have nothing down there, nor for number 5. We're on number 6, new business. All right, to consider an adoption of an ordinance increasing water and sewer rates. Do we have a motion? Do we have a motion?
Mayor. I'm so moved. So moved.
We have a motion by Alderman Young. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Alderman Geis. Do we have any discussion?
Mayor.
Alderman Young.
I know this comes at a really bad time for everybody, including myself. I just think that the Horn Lake general public, our constituents across the city, need to understand that this is not something this board looks favorably on at all. We don't have any choice. They have raised it on us considerably, and as bad as I hate to say it, we just got to pass it on to the people. Everything is so high right now anyway. I hate that it's, you know, it's just like piling on to piling on. But it's got to be done if we want to flush our toilets. Just that's that simple. If my figures are correct, and Mr. Jim may be able to add to this, I think it looks like it's about $2.73 per household is going to be the increase. Is that right, Mr. Jim?
I'll try to chime in. I see Mr. Nash coming as well. He may want to chime in, but the minimum residential bill will go from $13.61 to $15.93, which comes to $2.32.
Right.
If a household uses the minimum bill
Base.
required, which goes up to 5 cubic feet, which is 5 times 748 gallons, right? So roughly a little less than 4,000 gallons.
Okay, so we're looking right at still a little over $2 per household.
Yes, sir. If you use the minimum, if you get
Right,
a
if you,
minimum
but
bill
I've used,
amount.
if you do more than that, it'll be more than that, but I'm just
That's
saying the base rate, which is what a lot of people use to budget their household incomes. The reason I just want people to understand is we can't, there's nothing we can do about it. I wish there was. I wish the city had the money to suck it up, but we just, Buttercup, we just can't do it. That's all I have, Mayor.
Anyone else have any remarks?
Mayor,
Alderman Geis.
I've got a couple of questions. First is this a water increase or just a sewer increase?
It's just a sewer increase as a result of the city of Memphis increasing their treatment cost to the Horn Lake Creek Basin Interceptor Sewer District,
Yes, sir.
which is then passed down to us.
Yes, sir. So the motion won't be to increase water rates, it's just the sewer rates.
That's correct. Other than this is the time of year where the annual 3% increase goes into effect for water and sewer. So this ordinance won't include any water increases. It'll just include a sewer increase, but residents may see a small increase in the water bill by virtue of the 3% annual increase.
Yes, sir. And then the second question is, are we raising this any more than what Memphis is raising on us?
It's actually a little bit smaller, Alderman Geis, but and not to get down in the weeds too deep on how our sewer is treated, but all of Horn Lake is not treated by the city of Memphis. Some of Horn Lake goes to DeCrua, and Mr. Nash had calculated that 21% goes to DeCrua and 79% goes to the city of Memphis. So we're only increasing the overall sewer rate by 79% of the Memphis increase. So their increase is about 48 cents per cubic feet, and we're only increasing about 38 cents, right?
Okay. Yes, sir. I just wanted some clarification on that so the public knew that we weren't adding anything extra than what we were forced to increase it. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman. Thank you, Mr. Campbell. Anyone else have any remarks? I want to compliment Mr. Nash and Mr. Robinson for their hard work on this to try to keep it, as Alderman Geis and Mr. Campbell pointed out, tried to keep it fair and as low as possible. All of you know from reading the paper and watching the news that besides that little 3%, it's all due to the increase that Memphis has imposed on the Horn Lake Interceptor Sewer District. Is there any other discussion?
Mayor,
Alderman Bostic. Alderman Dupree.
I also want to point out that, to the citizens, that we are not the only ones having to raise this fee. South Haven has done it as well. They did in their last board meeting. So it's not just us. It's, City of South Haven as well. Part of their, sewer goes to Memphis, and that's why they raised theirs. And I just want to point that out, that we are in the boat with South Haven. So maybe we can get this fixed in the next couple of years.
Alderman Bostic.
Yeah, is this, let me word this correctly, hold on. Excuse me. The increase that's been put into place for right now, is this a permanent increase, or can they come back in a year and continue to increase whenever they just feel like increasing it? I mean, is this gonna go on and on and on until our agreement's up and that we're in litigations with right now trying to get resolved?
They can go up. I expect this will be a permanent increase, and there may be future increases as well. They're not arbitrary increases. They do send the district a detailed letter of the projects that they're required to make to their South Treatment Plant pursuant to a federal court consent decree that they're under through TDEC. So they spell out the millions of dollars they're spending and what the DeSoto County share of that money is to substantiate their increase. So I wouldn't be shocked to see a future letter like that in coming years if we're still hooked to the city of Memphis.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Campbell, you were going to say something else a while ago.
I am, Mayor. The other related issue to this, and we kind of touched on it, is for a while now we've had an annual 3% increase in water and sewer, and this is the last year for that. So we can include that in this ordinance as well if that is the will of the board, and the next one would be in February of 2024.
So in other words, you're saying make an amendment to the motion?
Or just include this annual increase in the ordinance that we're adopting tonight for the city of Memphis increase. That'll be, we usually do it in 5-year terms so that we don't have to do it every year, but this just happens to be the last year of that annual increase.
Would you be willing to put that in your motion, sir?
Yes, sir.
The second still stand? Alderman Geist, your second still stand? All right, any discussion? Roll call, please, Ms. Julie.
Alderman Young.
Aye.
Alderman Dupree.
Aye.
Alderman Johnson.
Aye.
Alderman Bostic.
Aye.
Alderman Geis.
Aye.
Alderman Bledsoe. Alderman Klein.
Motion carries 7 in favor, none opposed. I want to thank the board for their consideration of this. I know that's something no one wanted to see happen, but we had to face reality, and I thank you for making that choice. All right, number 7, citizens' remarks. Mr. Jim, did anybody turn in a sheet? No one? Okay. Mayor, Alderman, correspondence. I want to thank every department head, every employee and member of the Horn Lake family for all their hard work during the holidays and all during the year to provide excellent services to our citizens. I noticed the Purple Heart Trail signs were up. They really look nice. Thank you for getting those up, sir. All right. Alderman Young, you have anything, sir?
Just a couple of things, Mayor. One is I really want to congratulate our Horn Lake Eagles basketball team. They are absolutely doing whatever they got to do and taking names. They're awesome. It looks like they're well on their way to a state championship, and I wish them the best. Second thing is I want to congratulate my wife on her appointment as a chamber membership director. Proud of her and her accomplishments, and the Chamber of Commerce and the changes that they're going through are for the better. And that's all I got. Thank you, sir.
Alderman Dupree.
Yes, sir. I want to tell my constituents that I do not want to raise this fee for the water or for the sewage. It bothers me really bad that we have to do that. So I just want to let you know we have to do it. It's not something that we want to do. So I just want to put that out there to let you know. I am here for you. If you need anything, call me, text me, email me, and I'll do everything in my power to help you. So I just want you to know that I'm here for you, and I hate this water increase, or sewers increase. Thank you.
Alderman Johnson.
I want everyone to know that our mayor's youth council is working very hard. As you've heard, we have some very talented and special students in our city, and they are collecting books, brand new books for children at St. Jude. They're collecting books through the end of January. So if you would like to donate new books, please contact me or someone here, anyone here at City Hall. Hopefully we'll be able to help you. We need new books, and I appreciate everything that you do to make our city much better.
Alderman Bostic. Alderman Geis. Alderman Bledsoe.
I have one thing I need to ask Rodney. I see we got two people that's leaving the utility department. Is there a reason that they are they're resigning? Okay.
Yeah, LD he's leaving. He found other work somewhere else.
The other one, I mean, it seems like we have somebody pretty regular. Okay. Well, I was just trying to head off in case we had something going on we didn't know about.
Alderman Clyde.
No, sir.
All right.
Mayor, I just noticed something.
What's that, sir?
I see on number C in the consent agenda, it says George Arata is retiring April the 30th, 2023. Did anybody tell him that due to budgetary cuts, we're not going to be able to pay him?
Well, he knows now. All right. Chief Rowell, you have anything for the board, sir?
Thank you, Mayor. I don't have anything tonight.
Anyone have questions or comments for the chief?
I do, Mayor.
Alderman Bledsoe. Alderman Dupree.
Hey, Chief, have you got any prospects for new hires on this, for this budget year?
Yes, sir. The one you hired tonight, the third one
Okay.
far in this budget that we've hired.
That's number 3.
Right.
So how many do we still need?
We still need 15.
Wow.
I'm sorry, I take that back. Tonight drops it to 14.
Oh, thanks.
Mr. Box, you have anything for the board?
Nothing, but you mentioned about, we did get the Purple Heart Trail signs put up today. I was going to let everybody know that we'd got that, and they look real good. You go down Church Road from 301 down to 51, you'll see them up.
Anyone have questions? Alderman Bledsoe.
One thing about on McIntosh, I tell you about that whole, so you'll put that on your list. They fixed it once, and it seemed like it washed out again.
Oh, probably during that heavy rain, probably did a good washing on that.
Yeah, you look at it, see, because that's where the water goes, hits the bank.
Alderman Postic.
Yeah, Stephen, when I send things to the mayor to send to you, just shoot me a text back and say, I got it from the mayor. That way I don't have to follow up or ride around the city and see if it's done, you know? So I appreciate that.
Anyone else? Good evening, Chief Limble. You have anything for the board, sir?
I do not.
Anyone have any questions, comments for Chief Limble? Mr. Drew, I know you have something for the board. But this is just for information. You're not asking the board for a vote tonight, are you?
No, sir. I just want to update everyone. the playground equipment has been moving at a snail's pace, but today we got another estimate in, so I wanted to present before the board in the packet and let everybody know kind of where we're at, where we're working on, and if we can possibly move forward in the short term. But before I start there, I did want to let everyone know that the annual public tree giveaway in South Haven is going to be held February the 9th, 2023 from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. It'll be located at the Bank Plus Sports Center, the indoor soccer field in South Haven. So they give away a lot of free seedlings, all kinds of different specimens. So if you want to go over there and get them, they're free. So with that, I'll move on to the playground equipment. So we have two estimates have come in. The first estimate came in from Playground Boss. It's a company out of Texas. They came in at $252,000. That includes one large superstructure, the pour-and-play rubber surfacing, and a set of swings. That'll have 3 bays, 2 swings in each. One of the bays will have handicap-accessible swings and then a child swing. That includes the removal of the current structure and the current rubber surface that we have. And like I said, that's going to be $252,000 on that one. And then I also have a second one that came in today from Mid-South Recreation, who installed the original playground equipment at Latimer back in 2004. And it came in as well at $250,000. So they're both basically the same. On each side of your packet is one side is Mid-South Recreation, one side is Playground Boss. They both come with one large superstructure that includes multiple slides, climbing walls, nets, things like that. And on the other side will be a set of swings. So that's kind of where I'm going with that. You know, if we can, I would like to move forward. I know I don't want to catch anybody cold tonight, so we'll push on for another time. But like I said, I do want to try to get this project going so that we can get that playground over there replaced as soon as possible.
Thank you, sir. As the board knows, I've had repeated requests I've made repeated requests to everyone not to catch y'all, the board, cold, not to come up at this time and ask for money or ask for this or ask for that. And so when Mr. Drew was nice enough to call me today, I said, "Did you get this information today?" And he said, "Yes." So that's why it's been added on tonight. It's not for a vote. It's not to catch anybody cold. He just received the information, and he wanted the board members to get it as soon as he received the information, so you would have time to ponder it. And if you have any questions, give him a call, or me, or anyone a call. Anybody have any questions? Alderman Klein.
So, this 250,000 have we got this in the budget for this year, or is this something we're looking for next year?
Actually, like I said, that was my main goal when I started the budget, was to have that, but I didn't know exactly how much the playground equipment was going to be, and it is very expensive.
Yes.
So I only have partial of that, and I was hoping to request from the board eventually to take out of economic growth to provide the other funds. I do have a particular sponsor that may come in and provide $100,000. So I'm hoping that if that goes well, they'll provide those funds. But in the meantime, to get the project going, I would like to pull out of economic growth. Yes, sir.
I think Mr. Robinson wanted to answer Alderman Klein's question.
Okay, thank you.
I was just going to mention, Drew and I have been talking about this, and yes, we do have a potential sponsor. We also have, when we were down in Jackson, there is a possibility, one of our state representatives had mentioned some potential funding there also that, could be applied to this. Also, economic development. I've gone back to 2010 all the way to 22. So in those 12 years, we get the funds in for economic development, and then you all approve different expenses. Every year we do, 2010, is the only year we exceeded our revenue. All the other years, we have funds left over. So we have more than enough funds if you all deem that worthy from previous years to be able to fund this, even without sponsorships. But if we have a sponsorship that pays half of it, that would be even less. But just wanted you to know, we have more than enough funds from all the previous years that is still sitting there.
I'd like to point out, number one, I hope he didn't scare away our sponsor by telling him we have the money. And number two, we're still working on having that Echo Park on the land that the late Mr. Dancy so generously donated. In fact, Dr. Surratt from Mississippi State is coming up to go look at the property and maybe have some suggestions as to trails. So, we got everybody nibbling at this economic development fund. So I ask the board to keep an open mind as we proceed and not make commitments until we get everything from Mr. Drew and everything from Dr. Surratt. Alderman Bledsoe.
I got 2 or 3 quick questions. Did you get any grants? Did they have any grants? I know with the senator and stuff, that's not considered a grant, I don't think, is it, Jim? So did you check in any grants? That's what we did with the first one in 2004. We had a grant and we had to pay about 20% of it, and they paid 80 or something like that. So I know grants are hard to come by nowadays. So that's my first question. And then did you put in a fence in front of the playground? We've been trying to get that ever since the park was built. So if you can look up, and they don't have to be about 3 or 4 foot high. It keeps the kids from running from the playground out into the parking lot, because we do have some people that does speed around here. So that would help out, I think. If you just get a price and kind of add it in and whatever we have to eliminate or whatever, but that's good. And those playgrounds about $200,000 back when we put that one in. So I knew about what it cost. And the last thing, you're losing a mighty good worker. Felicia was top, now she's Peters, but you lose. I don't know how you're going to replace her, because she was pretty good. She started with me years ago when we started the park department, and she did a good job. So
Yes, sir. She
good
does.
luck
She
to
does
you.
a great job. She's going to be missed. Yes, sir.
I think, Alderman Bledsoe, one of the state senators mentioned the possibility of some funds, not total funds, but of course we'd be in the fight with some others. But I think he mentioned possibility of what, 50,000? Is that correct? I hope that's not a grant. That's just, we wouldn't have to match any, would we? So we're all working on that, Alderman, to see if we can't scrounge a little bit here, a little bit there.
Well, a grant would be good, because used to be 80-20. Now I think it's 75 something. So
Yes, sir.
I don't know. If you'll
Depends on
check
the
into
grant.
it, they might say, I'm sorry. I got my head beat against the wall many a time.
Did you have anything else, Mr. Drew?
No, sir.
I have something, Mayor.
Alderman Johnson.
This is for Jim, and I do have a question for you too. Mr. Jim, and I want to say I've seen something from MML within the last week or so about a Healthy Cities grant. Have you seen that?
Well, they have sent something out, and for recognition.
Recognition.
That's coming up at the summer conference too.
Okay.
They're asking for applications for those that have achieved certain levels. But I have to look to see which is which.
Okay. Yes, sir. Thank you. All right, Mr. Coleman, do you know which one of these companies you're leaning more toward? Have you had a chance to look at the information that you received today?
I have. I've been in contact with Mid-South Recreation. They're the local company.
Mm-hmm.
They're the ones that installed the original, so they're familiar with Latimer and all of the structures that are over there. So I would like them. The other company is out of Texas, but they're just as good. I feel like. I mean, they're very courteous and everything on the phone, through emails. So
Okay.
both are good companies.
Mayor.
Alderman Klein.
Hey, Drew, once we make the decision, when you was talking with these vendors, did you ask them what the availability of this equipment is once you give them the go? And the reason I say this, I know for a fact some companies are anywhere from 10 weeks to 6 months.
Well, first company, the company out of Texas, they have the equipment, they're ready to go. They're ready to move. I'm not sure on Mid-South if they have it.
Alderman Bledsoe.
Like you said, in 2004, Chris Mid-South, they did ours, did a great job. And most time they have the equipment already there. We never had to wait. So, but things change in a few years. So, but yeah, I'm from Mid-South because they've done it before and I know they got good work.
Alderman Bostic, did you have, I couldn't understand if you want it or not, or what? Okay. This price does include installation?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Oh, Mayor,
Alderman Bledsoe.
what are they gonna do with the old playground?
They're just going to remove it, take it away.
It's not feasible to put somewhere else in another park?
No, sir. We need to remove it.
I think Alderman Young had asked about that or suggested that, about moving it, but you don't think it's safe?
I would be concerned with liability.
Yeah. All right. If there's no other questions, thank you, Mr. Coleman.
Mayor,
Alderman Dupree.
Just on another note, I spoke with a person who's going to donate the money for those fans again. Can you give me something in writing for those fans that for the park?
Sure, yes, sir.
All right, if you can do that maybe this week, I can get it turned in.
All right.
All right, thank you.
Mayor,
Alderman Young.
real quick, on this matching money from the Lions Club, you're gonna have to incorporate ADA. You're gonna have to have something in it for ADA. Okay? Just need to get with them and see what can be done.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Mr. Vance, you have anything for the board?
Mr. Mayor, hopefully was gonna bring to the board tonight. I was hopefully gonna bring to the board tonight a map of our, street project showing the, phase 1 portion of it. And, unfortunately, we ran into a little bit of a detour as far as, the streets that we were gonna work on. We found that there were some, issues with basically the service line, not the main line, but the service line for the water system that go across and underneath the streets. And so a lot of those are old copper lines we found out from Public Utilities, and we are going to have to relocate some of the streets in this first phase so that we don't pave over those or do anything on top of that, because we certainly don't want to have issues with the water underneath those streets right after we, make repairs. So we've been a little flexible in our plan. We're having to move some stuff around, but hopefully we'll have something ironed out as far as where we're going to go with those streets in the next couple of weeks. But in the meantime, I think there's going to have to be some further conversation about getting these water lines repaired prior to this street work that we're going to do. So we're in the process of getting some costs for that and kind of the magnitude or scope of, how many areas and how many lines we're going to have to do. And hopefully we can present that in the near future so you guys can make some kind of a decision on whether we need to go ahead and get a project to replace those lines, or how we're going to do that.
Thank you, sir. Alderman Bostic.
This is phase 2 of the residential paving is what you're talking about, right?
It's phase 1.
Phase 1?
Yes.
I know back when y'all started all of this, there was particular streets that were selected to do priority.
Right.
Okay, do we have a list of the next set of streets that we're going to be working? So if somebody contacts me and says, when's my street going to be done, or is my street on that list?
We will, but right now we're working on year 1, phase 1. And that's what I'm saying. The streets that we're working on now, we're having to kind of relocate a little bit to dodge these bad areas until we can get those lines worked on, those water lines worked on. Once we get that, we can
secure the project for year one, and then from there, we can certainly start telling you what we're gonna do in the future. Project that each year.
Alderman Klein.
And I would like to also add, I think, once they do get these streets nailed down, we're gonna have a place on the web that, the community can go in there and look and see exactly what streets they're gonna be working on for 2023.
Right.
And it would be 2023.
That's right, we'll update it each year to
And
show you.
then hopefully, I'm thinking by his third year, he'll be Cadillac and work. We ought to be able to lay out maybe a 4-year, what streets are gonna be worked on. And it's gonna be worked on in priority order, but also, financially more feasible to work certain streets at this, at a certain time.
Anyone else have questions for Mr. Vance?
Mayor.
Alderman Bledsoe.
Hey, Vince, is, the water department, will they help any about moving their lines? Cause you got 5 different companies, I think, ain't it? Water companies.
I think,
And they help out any about
well-
moving their lines and improving their places on the street?
Great idea.
if it's, you talking about if it's like a Horn Lake Water Association or something like that?
Yeah.
I'm sure they would if it's in their district, but I'm not sure. We'll have to get back and see exactly where these areas are. I know we went over a map last week, and it appeared that there may be some in Horn Lake Water Association. Is that correct?
Okay. Well, I'm for getting a little money to help us out.
Yeah, we'll certainly look into that.
Good idea, sir. Anyone else? Mr. Chad, do you have anything for the board, sir?
Just one item. I did talk to the developer of if you remember, the Terman Farms from a couple years ago on the senior living complex that the city approved. And they're still very much interested in doing the project in town. They're just trying to bring the financing together. So I'm really hopeful that they can do that this year. And we might be able to see construction. So it hasn't gone away. But they're just working on the financing end. At one time they had labor shortage. And then they had supply shortage, and now they've got, they're trying to shore up the finances or whatever. So, but they did reach out. I'd reached out to them before Christmas, and they got back with the department last week, and they said they're still pursuing it, and they still hope to do it. And I'm really hopeful they can pull it off.
Well, thank you for the good news. I know Alderman Bledsoe has been concerned where he'd be sleeping. Alderman Bledsoe?
Well, I was gonna say, they need to hurry up, cause my man sitting out there, he needs to move in. Only bad thing, he'd be in my district. And, the other thing, Chad, about code people, how are we coming on our code officers?
Well, right now we've got 2.5 positions filled. One is seasonal. And then we've got another one that's been hired and is currently under training. I don't know when that particular individual will be, feel comfortable going on their own. So he's been, right now he's out because he's ill or whatever. But so when he comes back, I don't know when he'll feel comfortable. I'm hoping within another week or two. And so then we would at least have 3 code enforcement officers out doing their positions throughout the community. And then we've just been taking applications for that 4th position. And so we've just been waiting to do that and see what comes in the door there with the hope if there's people that we feel that are qualified or interested that could handle the position, doing interviews perhaps later this month or early in February. So.
And the last question, I hope. There's people on Tulane and other streets too, parking in your yard. It looks like a pig pen. So if you'll see if they'll hit on top. If you go down Tulane, you'll see some. That's all I got.
Thank you.
I think the board members, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, thank you for that. I think we're going to do something kind of systematic with Ward 4 for some issues there. Basically do a systematic scoping of the whole ward, if you will, that over a period of time, I don't know if that'll be a month or 2 months, but basically drive every road and look at every property within that particular ward. And if there's an issue, contact the property owners to see if those can be resolved. So at least that's kind of the plan of attack. Both 2 of the code enforcement officers will be in tomorrow, and I'm hoping to talk to them about that. So.
I think the board members and the general public will be happy to know that, Mr. Barr is planning it out, so we will have a code enforcement officer working on the weekend. Thank you for doing that.
Yeah, thank you. Basically, what we're doing, with the two code enforcement officers, I'm reluctant to have them work 2 Saturdays a month. I've just been basically doing it where they work 1 Saturday a month. And so they've been kind of rotating, so we don't have every Saturday covered right now. But hopefully when we get up to 4 and we feel that they're confident and comfortable in their position, that we can cover almost every Saturday of every month of the year.
Thank you, sir. Anybody have any questions for Mr. Barr? Alderman Bostic.
Same message I had for Stephen when I send the information to the mayor and he sends it to you. If you'll just give me a text back to say that you've got it, that way I'll know that it got sent to, he tells me it's sent to you, and then I just want to be able to follow up with your text back. And also with the code enforcement working on Saturday, and I think I had spoke to you about this before, after 5 o'clock, you know, when the lights come on, if we could have a code officer maybe once or twice a week, work till 6:30. That way they could see the business lights. They could see a whole lot of things that I report on their own without just taking, hey, Alderman Bostic sent this in, but y'all don't see it because you leave at 4:30 or 5, so.
Right. No, I've spoken to them as well, as far as maybe doing different shifts, whether that be early in the morning, even though some of the signs, I don't know if some of the businesses turn them off at a certain point at night. So probably the better approach is to do the inspections like in the late afternoon or early evening when it gets dark, where a lot of the businesses might still be open into like some early evening hours. So, yeah, no, I've talked to them on that, so we're hoping to implement that as well.
Anyone else have any questions for Mr. Barr? Mr. Robinson, you have anything for the board? They're pretty. How many do we have, sir?
I believe we have 36. That's a little extra from what we anticipated down Goodman, the traffic poles. So, and then we'll work on the spring banners and design that'll go up probably March or April.
They look nice. Anyone have any questions for Mr. Robinson? Alderman Johnson.
Mr. Robinson, so the ones that are getting ready to go up now are these?
Yes.
It may just be me. It may just be my thinking. But I think we can hold off on those. And we can go ahead and maybe just think about the spring ones. Just because, and I'll tell you my reasoning, because they're red and green. And it's almost to me as if we've kind of missed that part. Now, we can certainly celebrate any time. I'm not, unless we just want to do the red for Valentine's Day.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, just my thinking.
Yes.
Anyone else on the board have any, want to chime in on that? Alderman Bostic.
I'll have to agree.
I certainly wouldn't want them to do that work, getting those up, and then we come right back in March and take them down too, so.
Anyone else have any comments? Anything else, Mr. Robinson?
No, sir.
Mr. Campbell, do you have anything for the board?
I do not, Mr. Mayor.
All righty. All right, I have nothing for the executive session. Do we have a motion to adjourn? A motion to adjourn by Alderman Young. We have a second by Alderman Dupree. Is there any discussion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Klein.
Aye.
Alderman Bledsoe. Alderman Geis.
Aye.
Alderman Bostic.
Aye.
Alderman Johnson.
Aye.
Alderman Dupree.
Aye.
Alderman Young.
Motion carries 7 in favor, none opposed. Ladies and gentlemen, we're adjourned. Be careful going home, please.